All right, let's real quick get some breaking news. The Niners just signed Logan Ryan, 32, almost 33-year-old DB. He was a corner for the Patriots for a few years. He was in the Super Bowl against Kyle Shanahan. Then he was a corner for the Titans. Then he was a safety for the Giants, and he was a safety for the Bucks last year. He hasn't played this year. The Niners are signing him for the stretch run. As you know, they lost Talanoa Hufanga, one safety. They lost George Odom, another backup safety. So they needed a safety. They signed Logan Ryan. He's been a corner before. He's versatile. I don't know that he's going to play for the Niners, but they have depth. They needed depth. They signed a guy. He's a guy. Yeah. So just wanted to throw that out there. The Niners signed someone. Logan Ryan probably won't play very much. Let's take some super chats. Fish and Chip says, it's my adopted dad, Lowell Cohn. Humor me, Lowell.
Sure. Absolutely.
Jack says, I'm tired of hearing that Brock isn't elite because of Yak. Mahomes leads the NFL in Yak. Do y'all think SF should draft Gord Jr.? Unrelated, just asking.
As far as Brock not being elite, did we say Brock wasn't elite? Did you say he wasn't elite, Iggy?
I said I'm not willing to say that he's elite yet.
I am.
Okay.
I didn't know you had said that. Could we linger a moment?
Sure.
Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. Clearly. But is he elite? Yes. I think with numbers like that, with performances like that, I'm willing to say this is an elite quarterback. Now, especially in his system. I know how you think. Elite? I don't like Tua as much as I like Brock Purdy. He slings the ball. He makes mistakes. No, I don't think he's as good. I understand you're saying, could you put Brock Purdy on Philly, and would he be as good for that offense as Hurts?
Could you put him on Houston and do what and would he do what CJ Stroud is doing? Win on Houston.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Another way of looking at it is, how is he playing? How is he playing on this team? And I'll tell you what, if you don't mind, I'm disagreeing with you a little. Do you feel?
Sure. No, this is a good topic. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Okay. Joe Montana, probably the greatest quarterback who ever lived, could not have been successful at the Raiders. We know that for a fact. And we know it for a fact because we know that the Raiders like to go deep. They wanted one and done. It was part of their deal. And we know for a fact that Bill Walsh talked about trading Joe. Does Joe even know this with Al Davis? Davis said, send me some tape. I've talked about it before on Joe. Called back Bill and said, I don't want him, Joe Montana. My receivers, quote, will outrun his arm. But I want Steve Young. And Bill said, in a pig's eye. No way. So it never happened. But the point is, you could apply that to Joe Montana too, that he wouldn't have done well at certain other teams, including especially the Raiders. So that's one way of looking. But I think right now, Brock Purdy is elite. And some people are talking he may even be the MVP. I don't think, for me, Lowell, that when a guy is legitimately in that conversation, you could say he's not elite.
Okay. The reason I asked about Tua is he's third in the NFL in passer rating at 106. And if numbers mean you're elite, then he would be elite. I don't think he's elite. I don't think if you put Tua on the Jets would. I don't think if you put Tua on the Texans, they would be that good. But that's the way I look at it. Hey, we'll find out. You can't penalize Brock Purdy for being on a good team. And whether or not he's elite doesn't really matter, because he could probably win the Super Bowl this year.
I'd say, again, if they were to play the Super Bowl this Sunday against Kansas City or whomever, he would have a high passer rating. He would do everything that we look at and admire. I really like what, and I've come to have confidence in him. We were watching the game. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to have this all winter. The other day, and they got the ball, and you said, "Do you think they're going to drive down the field and get a touchdown?" And I said, "Yeah, they are." That's how much confidence I have in him, and they did.
Yeah. Ethan M. Purdy has the second least yak percentage out of all 5 MVPs. Okay. All right. Sachin says Grant pops Ohtani to the Jays or the Dodgers. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'll tell you one place he's not going to go is San Francisco.
The Giants.
It's not
Carol
going
T,
to happen.
thanks for the donation.
Yeah.
Carol. Malik Payton, I believe Niners will show up for the rest of the season. The first seed is still up for grabs. I agree. No question.
They should.
Michael says, we all thought Jimmy was playing well. Was that more a product of his jawline or actual play? Does this also apply to Brock, or is he actually better?
I never thought Jimmy was playing that well.
Yeah, I never thought Jimmy was playing that well.
I never thought Jimmy was playing that well.
Philip Chavez says, my favorite show of the week. Love getting your dad's perspective on my Niners.
Thank you, Philip.
John Mathis says, can Ward guard Tyreek Hill? If not, who on the Niners can? The Grant family got love in Compton, California. Thank you, John. I think it's a bad matchup for Travarius Ward. Although Ward would know, they face each other in practice for years. Ward's good against big receivers. I don't know if they have anyone who can run with Tyreek Hill. Maybe. No, I don't know. But they may never face the Dolphins. Just saying. Juan Torres, first round bye is essential for our older team.
I would have to agree. Not essential, but really important.
Would make a big difference. Ethan M says Purdy has the second least yak percentage. We got you, baby. Dave, favorite show of the week. Keep up the great work. It's also pronounced Dove like the soap, not Dave. Why did I say Dave? Dove Autoglass. Sorry.
Hi, Dove.
Hi, Dove. Like the soap. Joshua Wyatt, I am more worried about this game than I was for Philly. If the Niners show up this week, we will know they are humble and hungry for the stretch run.
Don't worry. Have a nice night. They're going to kill Seattle.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that quarterback play? We need to talk about it. Look, I have nothing against Geno Smith. I look at him. He seems like a very nice man. He makes such horrible plays. Remember a couple of weeks ago, he threw the ball like about a yard, and they showed Pete Carroll on the side, and he said terrible. Remember? You could see his voice, his mouth. He said terrible. And Troy Aikman has pointed out, and Iggy and I see this. Instead of moving up in the pocket, he moves back all the time, and he moves back into the defensive ends, looping around to get him. He is moving into sacks all the time. I can't stand the way he plays.
Yeah, he's terrible.
The Niners are going to kill him.
The idea that Geno Smith could ever beat the 49ers.
Oh,
Geno.
He's
not even come close, ever.
No, and then he has this look. He sits, I mean, I feel sorry for him. He sits on the sideline. It's not only that he looks sad and beaten, he looks morally outraged that the world could let this happen to him.
Yeah, because he's a great story. Malik Payton, what did you think about the Greenlaw situation?
We're going to get to that.
We're going to get there.
We're going to get there.
Hold on. G Code says concerned Moody hasn't kicked in pressure games lately.
We'll give him some pressure.
Yeah, give him some pressure. Carol T says it was great to see the West Coast offense come home.
Hi, finally. Carol. I agree with you.
Baggage Claim 916 says if the Niners win the Super Bowl this year, how do you guys think they will respond next year? Will they be satisfied with just one, or will they have the same motivation to get more?
God.
I love that question.
Wait, my father would say,
if they win this year, what'll happen next year? I love that.
My father would say when I was little, slow down, Lowly. Don't get ahead of yourself, Lowly.
Slow down.
That's what I'm saying. Slow down.
Slow down. Lyle Bolyard says, hey, Grant, nobody's talking about how Lane Johnson was jumping early on a lot of snaps. Yeah, your friend Gary emailed me about that. I got to email him back. Gary, if you're watching, it's a thing that Lane Johnson does. He starts his kicks slide before the center snaps the ball, and I don't know why they let him do it. It's against the rules. It's cheating. J.R. Beckle says, your comments on Purdy having the least yak percentage. I think it's a interesting stat. What do you want me to say? He's good. He's really good.
It's sexy. It's a
sexy stat. I like it. It's a good stat.